just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all align, we do what we like. I just need one night where it just feels right. The stars all align, I just need one night. I just need
So I am back with yet another ACEDECK review. Thank you to ACEDECK sending all these boards and letting me be totally honest about them. It hasn't always been the most positive, but they've taken that feedback and they're implementing it into new boards, which is really awesome to see. Last year we reviewed the first short board from ACEDECK, which was the S1. That one had a metal kicktail, and everybody kind of thought like, this is okay, but we'd rather just have a real kicktail. Just give us a regular kicktail, and they did it. And this board is pretty dang sweet. So let's get right into it. This is the ACEDECK Stella Mini, and they call it a mini. It's a full-size short board, regular size kind of skateboard. It's around the same size as one of those. Here it is next to my regular board, just like an analog push board, and you can see it's not crazy small. It's like 33 inches long, it's like 10 inches wide, and it's 21 pounds. So this board is awesome for portability though. Be able to take it in stores with you, or let's say you drive to like the downtown location and you want to like jump around to some different places. This is a good board for that. Shorter rides, because it's got about a 22-mile range on street wheels, and you can get that, especially because I think short boards aren't meant for like, you know, all out full throttle riding the whole time. It's just for kind of cruising around, carving, having fun with. Now this board will do 28 miles an hour. That's plenty fast on a shorty. Let's talk about the deck. The deck has a really subtle concave to it. It's not super aggressive, so it's comfortable to ride. I like that in the front, it has a little bit of a nose, like it comes up a little bit in the front, but it's not super aggressive or anything. I would even go maybe a little bit more. It'd be kind of cool, but it's got plenty where when you put your foot there, it hugs it nicely. It's got really coarse grip tape too, so you're solid on there. So the tail's got like a fishtail cut in it, and they're cool. And it goes to show this board's like, you know, I think all electric short boards are really more for like cruising around than they are like doing a lot of like ollies and stuff with, just because they're heavy for like doing all that stuff. Now some people can pull it off, props to you, but even just like tic-tacking around, you can feel how heavy the board is compared to like a traditional board. And that's just talking about how a kicktail works when you're on an electric skateboard. It is nice to have though, because if you come to too tight of a corner, you can just tic-tac around it and make that turn, which is really convenient compared to when you're on a big longboard and you might not be able to make a turn. Having to like step off is always a bummer. So with this, you don't have that problem. It's 10 inches wide. It's plenty wide. It feels a lot like an old school like 80s deck. It doesn't have a ton of concave, which most of those didn't either. Some did, but like a lot of them were very flat. And I rode one of those a lot in high school, not in the 80s, but like in the early 2000s and stuff. That's what I actually like to skate a lot. So this board feels pretty reminiscent of that, except for the tail. I think the fishtail like look on it's cool, but I would honestly just prefer just a more purchase for my back foot. So in the future, just give us like a rounded normal tail. You can like square it if you want like a pool deck. Those are kind of cool looking, but I don't know. Like I feel like it's like trying too hard when you look at the tail. Just give me a normal tail. But that's my personal opinion on that. It's just like an aesthetic. I do feel like there's enough for my foot to grab in the tail. It's not holding me back from anything, but I like the normal shape. Now underneath that, you've got your trucks. These are RKPs, and they're at a 45-degree angle front and rear. They're nice and stable, especially because they're RKP. RKP reverse kingpin trucks are what you usually use on like longboards and stuff. And on this size board, it makes it very stable compared to like a regular skateboard on like TKPs in a short board size. It can be like much quicker to turn, and that's what you want for like trick skating, not for like cruising skating. The trucks are 7 inches wide. That's honestly kind of an important part though when it comes to short boards, is how wide and how far out. I mean all boards, but like especially on shorties, otherwise you get a lot of toe bite. And on this, I'm not getting any toe bite, meaning my shoe is touching the wheel when I turn. And the wheels, they're okay. They're 90 millimeter by 62 millimeter, so they are a nice wide contact patch. But they're they're okay. They're just kind of generic-y. I wish they were a little softer. But the good thing about wheels, you can change them to whatever you want. These are the ACEDECK style. You can also you can put different pulleys on. Bushings are 100A and 96A. I'd go softer, just to change it up, make this board even carvier. It feels a little stiff at times, but that's all going to be dependent on your weight, how loose you have your trucks. This board's got some fat risers on it, no doubt. I'll put the height of the board. I forgot what to check before I recorded this, but I'll put the height of the board from the ground to the top of the deck right here. It feels tall. Now, I think they did that because you can also buy their larger wheels. I think they're 105s, and those will fit underneath it, but then, that's why you want those risers. So I think with this, I'd like to remove one stack just to get this board a little bit lower to the ground, and I'll see how that does. It should have clearance because the enclosure on this isn't gigantic. Since it doesn't have like a huge battery, it doesn't need to be. It's a 13S 2P of Samsung 40T cells, bringing you to about 374 watt hours, meaning about 22 miles in range, give or take, and plenty of power though. The board's got a good amount of power. It's running a 50 amp ESC in a short board. I feel like it has plenty. It's belt drive as well, and that means like you're getting a good amount of torque. Hub motor boards and stuff are usually less torque. This board's got totally enough torque, I think, for me off the line, no problem. I rode it around mostly in sport. It's got 4 levels to the speed modes like all the other ACEDECKs do, which is low, eco, sport, and sport plus. Sport plus is pretty fun when you really want to get into it, and especially if once the battery gets to about halfway, then it's fun to jump up there because you want a little bit more out of the battery. But most of the time, honestly, you can run in like eco. Eco tops you out at about 17 miles an hour, so that's a fun like neighborhood cruising speed when you're like, if there's like lots of like cars around and you just want to carve and have some fun. That's a pretty cool, I think it's a good speed. Like I'd like it to be about 20, but being able to hold the throttle on full and not have to like modulate it is always kind of fun to me. So just hold it there, carve around, have a good time. It's pretty fun to do. It's got cup washers also, which is super slick. So it gives you that extra layer of stability. Now all this stuff, you can adjust it. You can put in different bushings, different washers. You can tweak this board to be how you want it to be. But from the get-go, it's okay. I wish they had softer bushings. This board charges in 3 hours, which isn't too bad. 22 mile range, 3-hour charge. I wish it was a little quicker, but it's a smallish charger, so you could take it with you fairly easily. And again, this isn't like a long range board by any means. It's a short board. Short trips, ripping around, having some fun, that kind of thing. The remote control is the same one they use on all their boards. It's fine, nothing super special. It's decently comfortable. I do wish there was a little bit more like thought into how remotes are in your hand, like with like finger grooves and stuff. It's not something we've seen from ACEDECK, and that would be kind of cool. I did see they released like an aluminum bumper you can put around the remote so it protects it more and looks kind of cool. I haven't tried it, but looks neat. The designs on the deck are fine. It's got some little bit of graphics and stuff. It's all dark, so it's not like a super, I don't know, one way or another. It's like blacks and grays, so it's pretty simple looking. So now it's totally keep it real. What are some things that they could do to improve this? I already mentioned one of them. I'd like the tail to be a squared off tail. That's what I would like. I'd also like to see them put in more bushings. I think it'd be super nice if they just included one set of soft bushings for people, or softer, so you'd have kind of a range. It wouldn't cost a ton. It'd be a nice little upgrade. I would honestly say put that in before like the Allen wrenches and stuff, because a lot of people already have Allen wrenches because they work on other things or whatever around their house, even if they don't skate. But like nobody has extra bushings if they're new to it, or it's just another thing. So I think it'd be cool because it would instantly let people customize their boards. So let's see some bushings maybe next year, in your next set of boards. That would be a cool little addition. I'd love to see it. I don't really want to see a larger battery in this board. I think it's cool because of, it keeps the weight down. I mean, one wheels and stuff are getting to like 30 pounds, and like lugging 30 pounds around is a lot different than like a 21 pound board. It really does make a difference. And just because I'm asking for extras, it'd be cool if it came with some pulleys also for like Kegel wheels, so you could have either one, Now here's a ridiculous part though. Right now this board is $600, which is super low. Plus they're doing free shipping. Plus you can use my discount code. It gets you another like $26 off. So you end up getting this board for $574 for a belt drive, 50 amp, 13S2P, 40 T cells, little ripper, that's a really good deal. So this is what I honestly think of this board. Thank you again to ACEDECK for sending it over. It's been really fun to ride. All these boards are really fun to ride at the end of the day. If you're gonna pick one up, use the code Dallas at checkout. It'll save you a little bit of money and help support the channel. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below and I'd be happy to answer them, and I will see you guys on the next ride.